Hey everyone, my name is Danielle and welcome back to my channel. It is already almost September, so it's time for a TBR. For the month of September, I will be participating in Becca's Bookoplathon. If you haven't heard about that, I will link her announcement video down below. But this is a readathon based off of her TBR game that she used to play every month, but I think she plays it every other month now, where you have a Monopoly style board. You go around, every space you land on corresponds to a prompt, and you fill the prompts. There are a few ways you can play this. You can set up all of your prompts ahead of time, or you can kind of play as you go. I will be playing as I go because I am such a mood reader that it's hard for me to do full prompts at the beginning of the month because I will just not do any of them. So we're gonna do one roll for this video that I will fill with a book that I want to read in September. And then during the rest of the month, I will continue to do rolls as I finish a book, and I will be vlogging as much as I can. I'm really hoping to do weekly ones, but if I can't get weekly, I'm gonna do 2 bigger vlogs just to kind of cover all the prompts and what's going on with this readathon. Before we get into that roll, I will be just talking about a few books that I'm hoping to get to fit into some of these prompts, just because I really want to read them in the upcoming month. The first one that I have is Jade War by Fonda Lee. This is the second book in the Greenbone saga. I am almost done with the first one, so I really want to kind of jump into this one as soon as I can so I don't put it off too long, forget what I'm talking about, forget what I read. It is pretty long. It is like 500 pages. Each book in the series just keeps getting longer. I'm very nervous for this series, but I am absolutely loving the first one, so I really hope I can get into this. This series follows the clan members of the No Peak as they are dealing with rising tensions with a rival clan. There is a magic from this island that they live on that uses jade, and that is where they get their magic from. It is very interesting, very intriguing story. It is very political. The first book is a lot of politics, and I hear that kind of continues on through this book and the next book. Very interested to see where this goes. I love this edition from, I believe this was a Lumicrate. So glad I bought it because I absolutely love this one. And yeah, that one I'm really hoping I can fit into a prompt because I really need to get to it. The next 2 that I have are the last 2 books that I have for my 5-star predictions. I have been trying to read these forever and I just can't seem to finish them. Jade City is my 3rd one. So once I finish that, hopefully I'll get to these 2, and then I will finally have read all of my 5-star predictions for 2022. The first one is Siren Queen by Nevo. This is a historical fantasy that follows a Chinese American woman as she is kind of navigating Hollywood, I believe kind of in a 1920s era. She is trying to be true to herself, but there are monsters that she has to learn who is who. And I love Nevo. I love this cover. I need to read it. It's not too long. It is almost 300 pages though for how short it feels, but I really need to read it. And then the last one for that 5-star predictions is just the first book in this trilogy, which is the Inheritance trilogy, but I'm hoping to just get to the 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin. This, I believe, is a high fantasy that involves gods, the god of death. I think it's pretty romance heavy from what I understand, and each of the novels is a kind of standalone in the same series. So very excited to try that because I love the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin, and I've heard really good things about this series. So I keep meaning again to pick this up. It's less than 400 pages. I just need to get to it, but I just keep seeming to put it off. I think because I keep thinking I have to read this whole thing in one sitting, where I don't. It's 3 different books, but there we have it. Those are the 2 books for my 5-star predictions that I need to get to, so hopefully I will get to those. I'm also really behind on my reading of the Expanse series. I was hoping to read a book a month for the rest of the year until I got as far or finished this series, since it is a completed series, but I am struggling with this 3rd book, Albions Gate. This is a high epic sci-fi series that follows James Holden as he is kind of navigating the politics between Earth and Mars and the Belt, which is a kind of satellite type system between those. There is a lot of politics again in this one. He's trying to figure out what happened to his crew in the first one. I really enjoyed the first 2 books, but I am struggling with this one because it introduced some characters that I really am not connecting with, I'm not caring about. So I am struggling with this one, only 100 pages in, but that is one I'm really hoping to finish so I can continue on in the series. I'm struggling with it, but that's another one that I would love to fit into this readathon in some fashion. And then the thriller I'm really hoping to get to this month is The It Girl by Ruth Ware. I just know this is kind of a slower paced thriller murder mystery that follows a girl who's trying to figure out who really killed her friend from college when the man that supposedly did it dies in jail, but there's new evidence that seems to come to light. So she has to figure out what really happened to her friend from college. I haven't really heard anything on if people like this or not, and it's been out for a while, and I haven't heard either way if people like it or they don't. So not really sure. I have a very mixed history with Ruth Ware. I've given her books anywhere from 2 stars to 5 stars. So who knows with this one, but I'd really like to try to read it because I do like Ruth Ware and I think I can enjoy more from her. So I just need to get to it. And the last one that I would really like to get to is Babble by R.F. Kuang. This is a dark academia, epic fantasy, historical, all of it that I believe follows a group of people at Oxford navigating a lot of things. It sounds like people are obsessed with this. People are crying. Everyone I feel like is talking about this. This is the Illumicrate edition. Mine kind of bubbled a little bit, but I still think it's a really pretty edition and I'd really like to get to it. It is another long one. I think it is like 500 pages, 540 pages. So I have very long, but I want to get to it because I want to know what the hype is for this one. Those are the books that I would really want to read next month that I'm hoping are something I can fit into the prompts that pop up. But with the way I know how I read, I am not guaranteeing any of these books at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our first roll for the Bookoplathon, see if we can get something that will let me fit a book I want to read from this pile. Okay, so I have my board set up for Becca's Bookoplathon. I have one of my kids' lovely little army men from Toy Story as my figure and my dice that I found from 2 separate board games. I'm gonna do my first roll. And I got a 9. Okay, so that prompt is buildings. All right, so the first prompt is buildings. And I actually do have quite a few options for this one. I have 3. I could read Jade War because there are, I don't know if you can see it in this edition, but there are buildings in the background. So I could read Jade War. I could read the 100,000 Kingdoms because, I mean, this is obviously a building of some kind. And I could even read Babble. There's 100 buildings on this picture, basically. So I do think any one of these will work. My first instinct is actually to go with Babble because I really want to read this before it's spoiled. I want to know what the hype is. So I think for this one, I will prioritize Babble over one of the other ones, even though I really should read those ones first. I'm just so intrigued by this book and everyone's reactions to it that I feel like I just need to read this one first. Babble will be my main priority for that, my first pick for Bookoplathon. As I go, when I finish this one with that prompt, I will then do another roll to get my next prompt. My son has already said that he wants to do it, so I'm probably going to have to let him do it as well. So we'll see how that goes. And they just like to be involved. There are my reading plans for September. They do seem really ambitious, maybe, but I don't feel like I will actually get to all of these. I am kind of lowering the amount of books that I'm hoping to get to just because I have picked such big chunkers for this. Almost all of these, even Ruth Ware's Even this thriller is like 400 pages, which I very rarely pick up thrillers that are anything more than 300. So even this is long. All of these are quite big books, but hopefully I will get to them. And if you are interested in seeing what other prompts I get, I will be posting vlogs throughout the month of September. Hopefully every Monday. That is my goal, is to post a vlog every Monday and just to kind of read as much as I can. I thought August was going to be my month. I was going to read so many books in August, and I hit a really bad reading slump about halfway through, just with work, my kids going back to school, readjusting to this new schedule with that, baseball, soccer's coming up. So it's been a very interesting time right now. Those are my reading plans. Let me know in the comments below what you plan to read in September. I would love to hear it, and I will see you next time.